After the 675, I went on and moved on to 705. Now, I'll let you guys know right now, I did not get it. Welcome back, my YouTube family. Hope you guys are all doing well. I got another exciting squat video for you today. First, we're gonna go through my workout, and then I'm gonna give you 3 tips on how to improve your squat. All right? But before we even get into the video, I want you guys to go to tankstrengthcoaching.com. If you're interested in improving your athletic potential, your strength performance, reach out to me, reach out about coaching. But if you just want to support the channel and you like the merch, check out my shirts. They're pretty cool. All right, let's get into it. I've squatted over 750 pounds. I've benched over 500 pounds numerous times. And I've deadlifted over 750 pounds. All right, this week, we're building up 3 sets of 1, RP 7, 8, 9. Okay, at the start of the block it was 3 sets of 3, RP 7, 8, 9. Then it was 3 sets of 2, RP 7, 8, 9. This week it was 3 sets of 1, RP 7, 8, 9. All right, first sets first, 635. Moved pretty well. Big brace, get down in position, boom, pop right back up. Feeling good to go. Took those quarters off, threw on a plate, 675, got some spotters. Make sure that we're good to go, we are safe. You always need to prioritize safety in training, okay? So, get yourself a spotter or squat in a power rack so you can dump the bar. Big brace, squat down, boop, right back up. A little bit more of a grind than I would have liked for my RP8, but I was feeling really good that day. I felt very strong. My body felt very good. I was not very irritated or sore anywhere. I felt very, very strong. A couple things, I've talked about this in the past. Your high bar position is higher than your low bar position. So my low bar position, it's not too low. It's right on the spine of my scap, sits on my rear delt. My high bar position is going to be any position higher than that. So I like to sit it on like my mid trap, and I like to have it basically above my shoulder. So it kind of sits above my shoulder when I'm looking from the front, right? Have your weight, it sinks in a little bit more. But generally speaking, I like to have it sit on my shoulder. A lot of new people I see with their squats and their high bar squats, they put it on their tippy top of their trap. It's almost going into their neck, and a lot of times they get neck issues. We don't want that, right? We still want that weight to be sitting on our trap, so it's sitting on our torso. We don't need to be putting it sitting on our neck. So when you're doing your high bar squat, again, it's any position higher than your low bar squat. After the 675, I went on and moved on to 705. Now, I'll let you guys know right now, I did not get it. But a couple things we can take away from this. One, look at the spotters on each side. They're in good position. They're ready to catch me if I need to. Nice big breath. The control on the way down was great. Only problem was my transition from the eccentric to the concentric, right? That transition there, I messed up a little bit. I fell out of position. You can see the bar kind of pitched forward, then I got it back. But at that point, I probably did not have the energy or strength to really squat it back up. So my spotters came in and saved me there, all right? There's a difference between grinding through a squat, grinding through a bench, grinding through a deadlift in competition prep, at the competition, and just in your general training, right? Not too often am I a huge fan of major grinds, especially on squats. The reason for it, it's very fatiguing. And 2, a lot of times you can get pitched out of position very easy. When we train, we want to try to train not perfect, but close to it. When we train, we want to be able to execute our training program pretty good. At least 80, 90%, right? Unfortunately, I did not get this RP9. Not a big deal. Spotter's ready to save me. And then the next big thing, you can see right afterwards, I talk to them, I have a smile on my face, not a huge issue. If you miss weight and you're down in the dumps and you're like, oh yeah, listen, I understand that, especially when you're getting close to a competition. Completely understand that, and that is okay. But we cannot stay in that state for too long. We cannot let our emotions hinder us for too long. If you were to look at my hand right now, and if my hand were displaying a line on a graph, or curve on the graph here, we do not want a bunch of hills and valleys with our emotion during training, right? Yes, we can get excited for an awesome PR, let's go. And sometimes we might get pretty sad if we're a few weeks out from a meet and we miss a lift. But it's important to, if any of those things happen, we celebrate that moment and we move on, or we feel for that moment and then we move on. We get back to baseline. So our emotions should be more like this. Yes, we're going to have some hills and valleys, but they should not be mountains and freaking trenches, right? And the reason for that is if you fail a lift and you feel down in the dumps about yourself, you could ruin the rest of your workout. So what? I didn't get up my RP9 for that day. Yeah, that freaking sucks. But I can go hard on everything else I'm doing that day. If I stay in the trenches too long and I feel too bad for myself because I missed this lift, and I don't go hard on the rest of my workout because I just don't feel like it, well then I'm not getting the benefit of that workout. It's a training session. This is not a competition when we're training. It's training. Doesn't mean we don't take it seriously, but we need to know when to flush it and move on, all right? So what did I do? I flushed it and moved on. Then we're going to move on to farmer's carries. I believe this is 235 each hand. Walking down, 50 feet down, 50 feet back. My competition, I need to be walking 40 feet down, 40 feet back with 320. It's a lot of weight. I'm training farmer's carries twice in a week. One day is this day, which is 100 feet total, and we're keeping it relatively light. And then the next day, we're going to we push towards more competition standards, which you see on my strongman training days. Farmer's carries is tough, is heavy. For me, it taxes my grip the most, okay? So increasing the frequency, but not always trained to failure, like we do on this day, is going to be really good for gaining that strength in my grip and getting very comfortable with the movement. After that, we're finishing up the workout with neck extensions, right? We keep that neck strong. We need a strong, sexy neck. Muy importante, okay? All right, moving on. 3 tips for a great squat. First things first is going to be perfecting your technique. If you have trouble with your technique on squat, please go check out my how to squat video. Teaching you kind of how I squatted 760 pounds, my latest PR. All right, now, overall with our technique, the most important thing is that it needs to be repeatable. We need to be able to repeat my technique over and over and over and over. Your body should get very comfortable with the technique you're doing, okay? If you're going into the gym and every single week your technique changes slightly, you're moving your feet out, you're moving your feet in, you're barely hitting depth, you're really hitting depth, your knees are collapsing in, your knees are too far out, you're not learning. You're not giving your body enough time to learn the movement, okay? The squat is not the most complicated thing in the world, but we still need to teach our body efficiency. Teach your body the movement, get very strong at the movement, and then your body will know how to put more weight onto that movement. Once your body knows how to squat, it's very easy to add weight. If you're changing your technique up all the time, then it's very hard because you're not that efficient at it, all right? The next tip is going to be focusing on the weak points of the squat. Let's say your technique is good, you've been squatting, the newbie gain phase is kind of over, or just squatting twice a week is not good enough. And where it needs to start implementing more serious accessories into your lifts, all right? Focus on the weak points. If you're failing a squat because you're not able to keep your chest in a good position, in a good neutral position, the bar is tipping forward, something like a safety bar squat is very good. A high bar squat is very good. Even a front squat, depending on your equipment available, could be very good, all right? Focusing on accessory points to help target things that are weak. If you're very hip dominant, and your squat looks like almost like a kind of good morning thing. It's very akin to a deadlift. All right. If that's your type of squat, doing more deadlifts can actually kind of help your squat. But if you're already doing squatting and you're deadlifting, maybe it's time to bring up your quads. Maybe you have a little too much emphasis on the hips. We need to bring up the quads a little bit more. Something like a hack squat or even a leg extension to help build up that muscle and then teach that muscle how to squat could be very beneficial for you. So first point, perfect the technique. Second point, focus on your weak points. And the third point is to stick to what works, okay? Let's say you're hitting a hypertrophy block, and during that hypertrophy block, you're making great gains and you hit a PR on volume at the end of that block. Don't change the structure of the workout now because you heard something different from some other guy on the next block. That worked for you. Make sure you keep it going forward. Even when you enter a strength block, a lot of the structure of the workout should be the same going into the next block. The exercises might be the same, all right? It's very important. Follow these 3 tips for a perfect squat, and I guarantee you will increase your squat gains. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know how much you guys squat, and let me know what you think about the video.